Hey everyone, I'm Josh O'Brien, National Sales Manager for Yieldmaster Solutions, and today I'm excited to talk to you about our corn biological called IONfx. So we're going to start out with the product profile for IONfx, and let's start with how do you actually apply this product. So IONfx is a liquid product. It does come in 1 gallon jugs for seed treatment or 2.5 gallon jugs for the in-furrow foliar treatment. And if you apply it as a seed treatment, you can apply it through your treater with other products, and it does have a 100-day seed viability. Your application rate that you're going to want to use is 2 ounces per 100 rate, or roughly 1 ounce per unit. We feel that the seed treatment is the best option for this product, both from a return on investment standpoint and from a performance standpoint. But we do have 2 other options that you can apply it. You can put it down in furrow, 16 ounces per acre. You do want to make sure you have a minimum of 5 gallons per acre of liquid with the product. Ideally, in a perfect world, we'd ask that you don't mix this with starter fertilizer due to some salts and some of the issues that maybe the bacteria might have with that fertilizer. Putting it in with a dosatron system would be a really nice option, however. And then if you decide to go foliar, the same application rate, 16 ounces per acre. You do want to put 10 to 20 gallons of water per acre with it, just to make sure that you get enough coverage across the field. We would recommend V3 to V7, but the earlier you can apply this product, the higher the likelihood that you're going to have some real success with it. Its mode of action, it does contain multiple strains of endophytic bacteria, which means basically bacteria that lives inside the plant. And these bacteria essentially unlock the plant's ability to create their own growth regulators. So if you think about it, we're taking the governor off the plant, allowing it to push itself further and harder than it typically would without this product inside of it. And while the small bacteria are actually responsible for the mode of action inside of IONfx, it does have dozens upon dozens of strains of bacteria in there that are there to support those bacteria. Essentially, we're bringing the entire community of bacteria to the plant to ensure that the ones that are doing the work are supported in the ways that they need to be supported. Again, on the packaging and handling side of it, the seed coat does come in 4 by 1 gallon jugs. The in-furrow does come in 2 by 2.5 gallon jugs. Like most biologicals, this is a liquid live product, so you do not want to let it freeze. Keep it somewhere between 39 to 82 degrees, and basically inside the shop with out of the sun, and you would be fine with it. Shelf life is 18 months when unopened and stored correctly. And then really what we're going to go through in the remainder of the slides here today is the key benefits. So the ones that we've been able to really notice in our observations have been the heat and drought stress mitigation, the plant growth regulator response, the increased ear size and improved ear fill, and last but not least, the residue management. So let's start at the beginning on just how this product works and what it does inside of a corn plant. So right out of the gate, when you apply this as a seed coat or an in-furrow product, one of the things you're going to notice is the enhanced root system, which allows for more efficient nutrient and water uptake. So essentially, we're putting a bigger filtration system in the soil that's going to allow you to go further and deeper and absorb more of that nutrition and that water. But really, what I think is the most interesting about the root development with IONfx is the ability that it has to encourage the development of secondary brace roots. So we see this quite often when we're walking fields, that secondary brace root system that is important for 2 reasons. One, you're giving it an additional ability to bring in water and nutrition. But 2, it's really going to help with standability of that crop as well. You're putting in a support system on that plant that's going to allow it to just withstand some of those environmental conditions throughout the course of the summer a lot more effectively than without the product. And then probably the biggest component of this product in terms of yield enhancement is the ability of this product to unlock the plant's own growth regulators. So when we think about that, essentially what we're doing is we're convincing this plant that it's healthy, that it has everything it needs, that it's allowed to, put a bigger ear on that plant. It's allowed to put bigger leaf tissue size on there, put a bigger stalk on the plant, and overall just create a bigger plant in general, which is why it's such a powerful product, not only for grain corn, but especially for silage corn as well. So just unlocking that plant's ability to release more of its own plant growth regulators and keep pushing the limit on just how big of a plant and how big of an ear that it can possibly set. The other important thing is when we do set that increased ear, obviously it's really important for us to fill it, right? So if we're going to put a bigger ear on that plant, we have to have confidence that we're not just going to waste that energy, that we're going to be able to utilize that increased ear size and fill it out. So we do have some bacteria in here that will help with just overall nutrient efficiency, converting it into plant usable forms quicker, pulling it up through the soil system, through the root system more effectively, and then ultimately once it's inside the plant, delivering it where it needs to go a lot more efficiently as well. So we're able to not only set that bigger ear, but also fill that ear out and make sure we can get as much grain on there as possible. One of the most unique things about this product, in my opinion, and one of the most obvious things that we've seen with it is the heat and the drought stress tolerance with this product. And we'll go through a slide here in a little bit that kind of demonstrates what we mean by that. But essentially, this product, IONfx, has bacteria that will help modulate the pH within the plant and keeps that internal temperature cooler throughout the course of the day. So essentially what it's doing is by modulating that pH, we're not forcing that plant to expend more energy than it needs to keep itself running a little bit cooler throughout the day, kind of like turning the air conditioning on inside the plant. When we do that, the stomas, or those little vesicles on the leaf tissue, they would typically want to close once they get above a certain temperature, in order to prevent that plant from transpiring too much water, right? It goes into self-defense mode. It does not want to release too much water. Because we're able to keep that plant running cooler, we're not transpiring as much water, and we're allowing those vesicles or those stomas to stay open longer throughout the course of the day, which is allowing that plant to continue its process of photosynthesis and converting all that energy into sugars and other key ingredients for the product to continue to grow, or excuse me, for the plant to continue to grow. So the heat and the drought stress tolerance has been a huge, huge, huge advantage for us, particularly over the last couple of years in some of the plots that we've had them in. And then last but not least is the residue management component of the product here. So we have bacteria within IONfx that will accelerate the digestion and will help soften that plant tissue post-harvest for improved residue management, and then also just improving that nutrient availability for the following season. So particularly people that use us on silage corn will notice, when they catch some warmer fall temperatures, the bacteria within that residue is still going to be releasing and feeding off of the organic acids and enzymes of that plant and drawing in more of those carbon digestion bacteria. So what we see oftentimes is you'll see a black tip on top of that residue, which is essentially those organic acids and enzymes fermenting inside the actual root system, excuse me, inside the actual stalk itself. And you get kind of a biochar tip that is caused when it hits the oxygen above ground. So it's a really, really cool thing to look at. But for your purposes and what you need to know is essentially that it's digesting the lignin, or the cellulose material from the inside out, again, softening that residue and ultimately releasing that nutrient a lot more quickly than it would without the product. Now, obviously, once temperatures get cold enough and those bacteria die off, that's going to stop happening. But if you can catch a few weeks of warmer temperatures in the fall after you harvest, particularly on silage corn, it's a really nice benefit for you. So here's just a few examples of what I mean when I talk about the plant releasing or allowing the product releasing more of its own plant growth regulators. So you can see here the root system right out of the gate. Again, just having those secondary brace roots that we see on that lower right-hand picture there. That's a great example of what we would see in the field, putting more root system down, but also putting those bigger secondary brace roots down, which is allowing that plant to draw more water and more nutrient up, as well as providing it a lot more structure and standability throughout the course of the season. And then on the top right picture there, you can obviously see that the ear size and ear development has been enhanced with this product. Again, when that plant starts to set the rounds at V5, what our goal is to have IONfx in that plant and basically convincing that plant that you're healthy, you're good, you can set a bigger ear size, and we can fill it. And oftentimes you're going to see that with this product is more rounds on that actual ear. And then the left-hand side is just, it speaks to the overall just bigger plant. So again, if we're going to put a bigger stalk diameter on there, we're going to put a bigger leaf tissue surface area on there. We're going to set a larger ear, and overall, we're going to just create a much larger plant. So for you guys that are doing silage, this is a home run product for silage corn because obviously you get the benefit of both the bigger ear, the bigger grain, but also the bigger plant tissue material as well. And I mentioned earlier to you that I'd circle back to the heat and drought stress tolerance. This is from one of our plots in South Dakota in the Lake Preston area. And just a prime example of what I'm talking about when I tell you that it allows the plant to stand up to heat and drought stress tolerance more effectively. So you can see on the left-hand side there, this is on a 91-degree day at 4 in the afternoon, how curled up and pineappled the control row or rows of this plot are. Basically they're pineappled enough that that plant shut down for the day. It's not moving nutrient, it's not moving water through it. It's pretty well done. On the right-hand side, yes, there is a little bit of curl to that plant, but for the most part, it's still pretty open. That plant's still operating, it's still exchanging sugars and carbohydrates, and it's still growing. So we're able to keep that plant just operating longer throughout the course of the day, especially on those hot, humid days. And in this case, it was about a 5 to 6 bushel difference when we're looking at that in this particular plot. So let's talk about where this product is a fit and where the highest likelihood of success is for it. Seed coat, if you can get it on the seed coat, your likelihood of success is going to go up. In furrow would be your next best option. Foliar, if you can get it down really early, it can potentially work. But again, think back to what this product does and how it works. We want to colonize this plant as early as possible so we can influence that root system and so we can influence that secondary brace root, but also so we can have a real impact on that ear set around that V5 stage. So if we can get it on as a seed coat or potentially an in-furrow, our likelihood of success is going to go up dramatically. One thing to note with this product is because we're putting a bigger plant out there and we're putting a bigger ear on that plant, we really want to make sure our fertility is dialed in to support it with all the other things that it's going to need to fill that. So we're putting a bigger plant canopy up there. We're asking farmers to make sure that their fertility is high enough to support that additional plant growth plus that additional ear that it's going to set. Late foliar application, that is where this product is going to start to fall off a little bit. You get much further past that V5, V4, post herbicide pass, and it's really going to start cutting back into just how high a performance you're going to see with this product. So again, the earlier you can apply this product, the better the likelihood that you're going to have success will be. Heat and drought stressed areas, if you can get this product applied in an area that is going to have some heat and drought stress, obviously that's all relative to a certain point. If you have such a bad drought that the crop's not even going to turn into grain at all, it's just going to die off, then yeah, we're not going to have much of an impact in yield in that situation. However, if you're going through a moderate drought situation to where that crop is still going to make grain and still going to finish the year, but it is going to be impacted fairly dramatically because of the heat and the drought, then that's where IONfx can really come in and have a major difference. And last but not least, minimum till or no till ground is a really nice option for the product due to the residue management component of it. Again, if we can get those bacteria to start digesting those stalks from the inside out from day one that plant or that crop was taken off the field, we're able to unlock that nutrient and release it back into the soil a lot more effectively. So let's talk a little bit of trial data. 2022, we did have it in 7 different locations. And it was a really nice year for us. We averaged about 9 bushel advantage, just under 9 bushel advantage across those 7 locations that you see on the map there. Some higher than others, but for the most part, it was a really consistent product in 2022. I will mention that most of these plots, or a lot of these plots, did experience some form of drought or excessive heat throughout the course of the summer, which certainly lends into the favorability of using these products, or this particular product here, in 2022. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, the real home run for this product is going to be on silage corn. This is from some of our high intensity management plots from 2 years ago. You can see here we got about a 2.4 ton advantage across 22 different data points, 7 different hybrids that were tested here across 4 different states. Really significant increase in yield. Again, this was a fairly dry year. If you catch more of a quote unquote normal year where moisture isn't as big of an issue, that 2.4 ton may come down to closer to 1.5, 1.6 ton per acre advantage. But for the cost of the product, this is an extremely high return on investment for it. So if you're growing silage and you have the ability of putting this product on as a seed coat or as an in-furrow treatment, I would highly recommend it. If nothing else, just because of the increase in the tonnage that you're going to get back out of that silage. We did not see any noticeable drop in quality for the product. In fact, a lot of the samples did have an improvement in the quality. And then you take that to milk per acre, it was close to 2,900 pounds more milk per acre with this product 2 years ago in our silage plots. So really nice product for silage corn. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me on the IONfx training today. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to a member of the Yield Master Solutions team, and we would be happy to provide you with those answers. Thank you very much.